Welcome back to Tutorial Tuesday, where every single week, every Tuesday, you get a brand new, fresh photography tutorial. Now, this week we were lucky enough to catch up with Hanina. She's a fashion photographer. She was giving a talk at our London store, and we thought it'd be a great opportunity to talk about all things fashion photography. Now, it's an area that I don't personally know much about, so I was quite excited to hear about this. So without further ado, let's dive into the interview where we're talking about tips for fashion photography. So we talked a little bit about colour backgrounds. Is there anything that you do in terms of lighting as well? Do you tend to set up the lighting yourself, or is that?
So when I was at uni, I assisted a lot of really big photographers where I was assistant number 10 out of loads of people on set. So basically I was getting the coffees and everything. But I was able to watch what they did, and I assisted some big fashion commercial photographers, Bella Howard, Elizabeth Hoff, and I basically took what I liked from their lighting and copied it in a sense. I went back to uni, because at this point I was at uni where we got all our equipment for free and we were able to test everything, and just tried it all and to see what I liked. And then when I graduated and I got into the industry and I was getting booked now, and I went on a lot of sets completely winging it in terms of lighting. Like, I knew what they wanted and it was very much, okay, yeah, I think that will go there and that light will go down here and it will angle it that way. But then as time went on, me and the amazing guys that I work with, so the guys that assist me, we've kind of nailed our lighting. So we do a lot, because it's obviously, my work is bright and commercial and very clean, so there's no shadows really ever. So we'll always have 2 front lights. So we'll have a key light, like a big octa, so a medium or large octa. I always diffuse everything.
We'll get nice and soft.
Yeah, so with soft boxes. And then I'll also use a big umbrella, but I'll use a diffuser on that as well. So cool. Everything is always soft, and umbrellas are so much easier than soft boxes because you have to pop it up. And for me, the big soft boxes are hard to get up sometimes. Like, they're big things and I'm not that big. So a big umbrella is just amazing, because you just literally pop it up, stick a diffuser on it, and it does basically the same thing. And then in terms of backdrops, depends if I'm shooting full body or just like face or half. I'll light the background twice with umbrellas.
So you just completely get rid of all the shadows?
Basically getting rid of all the shadows. Depending on the brief and the references, like sometimes there's a bit of shadow wanting, so we'll bring something in, or we'll put flashes and reflect them off polyboards. I use polyboards a lot as well.
Cool.
My friends always laugh at me because I make like a little house on set. So I do 2 polyboards on each side and then 1 on the front, so it's very secluded. So
you've got light bouncing everywhere. Awesome. That's quite a cool setup, actually.
It's super simple as well, but now I'm able to take that onto basically every job. Sometimes you've got to tweak it, but it's my basic setup.
Totally. So that's interesting. Do you have any tips? You're talking about kind of working with clients, and some clients want different stuff. Do you have any tips for working with clients and different clients, and some people want quite specific stuff? Is there anything you've kind of learned or had experience with?
I think before you go into any job, you should definitely know who your client is, what their market is, and then kind of have an understanding of how they're going to work, which takes time and it's experience. And I learned a lot of that from doing all my work experiences and interns, because I was able just to sit back and literally see how everyone works, how the magazines talk to the modelling agencies, how the PR guys talk to the fashion brands, and all the lingo that works. I think by knowing that going onto set, everyone takes you a lot more seriously. Also understanding timelines. So I work in fast fashion. The deadline's going to be within a week most of the time. Most of the time you need to give the contact sheets over in 2 days. So if I went in and said, okay, well, I'm not going to be able to get this to you for 3 weeks, I'd get laughed at my face. So to know that, I like to work with the client very closely as well. So I know some people like to do their own thing and then just show it at the end. I like to make sure that when we're testing or when we're shooting, the client's there and is making sure that they're happy with how it's looking. So keeping them involved, obviously working with models, making sure they're okay, just chatting to them. I work with, again, most of the time young girls, or influencers, or so you just have to create that relationship with them so it's not awkward between anyone.
Yeah, totally. Get that interaction, I guess, so that you're like friendly. And
massively.
They feel comfortable.
Yeah, massively. And sometimes you can get put in some awkward situations, or you can tell when it's tense on set, and everyone's really behind and the pressure is high. And there can be some tense situations, and it's just making sure that at the end of the day you've got to create that reaction between you and the interaction between you and the model, because she's going to be looking through your lens. Sure. So to make sure that you guys are okay, if there's everything else was going around, doesn't really matter.
Cool. Okay, that makes sense, because I guess you can get that thing where, because you're on one side of the camera and there's a bit of a boundary, but if you're kind of
you just chat. I've had some difficult situations, but you just have to chat, and if they're not giving you much back, that's fine. You're making that effort, they know that you're making that effort, and it's fine.
Cool. Kind of takes the like you say, the awkwardness out of the situation, I guess. Okay, cool. So anything in terms of like composition that you find you like shooting lower, or does it depend on the job and what kind of
depends on the job? I've shot a lot of shoes recently, because I had 3 weeks where I shot for Timberland and Office, and then I spent a week shooting UGG for different shoots with them.
Awesome.
And then who else was it? Buffalo, which is a shoe brand. And so it was all foot first. Like that's what everything I was being told was foot first. So from that point of view, you've got to shoot lower. To be fair, shooting lower always looks better. In terms of your composition, because the legs will look longer and I never really shoot higher. I'm not that tall anyway, so normally the models are way taller than me anyway. But just angle wise, shooting lower, or even shooting, say like if I'm sat on a chair, shoot like that height. Chair height is quite a nice height as well if you don't want to be completely on the floor and getting.
Cool. Okay.
But I move around a lot. Shooting fashion, and especially young, fun fashion, like that's why I was saying to you, I never use a tripod, because I'm always all over the place, getting all different angles.
Sure. Yeah. I guess that way you kind of get coverage as well.
Yeah, and also it's when I shoot fun. Most of the stuff I'm shooting young, fun fashion brands.
Yeah.
So the compositions, they want fun, young, like edgy sort of.
Yeah, of course.
Compositions rather than just like completely straight on and super still.
Totally. So I know probably a lot of people out there will be wondering is there a particular kind of focal length you might use lens wise?
So I always shoot 24-70.
Okay.
Always.
Okay.
It's the only lens I own.
Oh, okay. Well, fair enough. If that's the only one you need to use.
I really like 35mm.
Yep.
I also I really do like the 50mm as well. If I was shooting beauty, then I would use a 50. But for 24-70 of fashion, you can just do everything with it. You don't have to necessarily move yourself back, because sometimes you can't. So you can just zoom in and out. Okay. But that would be my go-to. And I spoke a lot of fashion photographers that I know, they would use that as well. Yeah.
And so that's interesting, because so aperture-wise and kind of depth of field, you tend to go for like quite a deep depth of field, so you're not getting them blurred out at the back of the head or anything.
So again, it depends where I'm shooting. If I'm in a studio and I can control my lights and I can control the whole settings, then we always shoot on around f.8, 9 for 1 to 2 models. If you're going higher, if you're having 6 people in your set, f11 plus. And then and if I was doing just face, then you could go much lower. But to get your whole body plus movement, the shutter speed is 125. Like you can't go less than that. And then ISO, I always try to keep it around 100, 125.
Cool. So ultimately, I guess in that case, it's more important to control your lighting than anything else.
When you're outside, it's a completely different ballgame, because you have no idea what you're going to be working with. Like you can have your shutter speed, like your f-stop could be like 2 point whatever, and your ISO could be 800. You just can't really control it as much.
No, of course. Okay, cool. So kind of finally, I guess then, any tips for anyone who is keen to get into fashion photography, but don't know where to start? don't know how to get into it. Yeah, and sort of tips for some of that.
I would highly recommend work experience, interning, within the fashion world, like assisting as well. Like, I mean, you can contact any photographer. You're not going to go on that if you're not from that. If you don't know it yet, you're not going to go on and be their number one assistant. But you don't want that. Like, you want to be able to watch everything and not have the pressure. Expect to do stuff not paid, but that's just the industry we're in. And I spent 3 years working for free, and it paid off in that sense. And I did interns and work experience in every part of the fashion world that wasn't just photography. So I worked in Vogue and GQ, I worked in modelling agencies, PR agencies, advertising agencies, production agencies, because I wanted to see how they worked with each other. And you meet so many people that you never know who can help you further down the line. I would do that. I would also test as much as you can. So in the fashion world, with the modelling agencies, you can do a test, which means you're not getting paid, but you get the models for free. Everyone's basically working for free to build their own portfolio. And yeah, so I started shooting my friends, just my really good looking friends. And then that got on to shooting, like, so working with smaller agencies, and then it just got bigger and bigger, and then you get to the point where you're shooting great models. But by testing, you're building up your portfolio, you're becoming confident actually shooting, because the first time I set up a backdrop, it all fell down on me. And to like learning how you want to light and working with a team of styling and building that team, by testing, you haven't got the pressure of this is a client job, this has to be 100% perfect. So by building up that, you then have a portfolio to then take on to brands and stuff like that.
Cool.
So that's how I started it.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And
So just shoot.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's good advice for anyone looking to get. Yeah. Okay, awesome.
Whether it's fashion or not,
Yeah.
just shoot. But yeah.
Do you think Instagram and stuff like that plays a part?
Massive.
Okay.
Like, for me, social media's been huge. I get a lot of my work through my Instagram, firstly.
Yeah.
And so I always have to keep on it, like keep it consistent. Like, I struggle sometimes because it is hard to constantly post.
Yeah.
But try, and also just keep engaged with your audience. So even if it means stories and like with my backdrops, like if I'm going to purchase a new backdrop, I'll just do like a little thing like, oh, what color should I go for next? And I haven't got that many followers, but I'll get quite a few responses because people that do follow me, I think, are actually interested in what I do.
Okay, that's good.
It's not like, I'm not an influencer, I'm not trying to be an influencer. So the people that do follow me, I think, are a lot of younger photographers or industry professionals, and it gives you a chance to suss out clients, so find brands that you want to work with, message them on Instagram. I message so many people on Instagram, and you get responses because everyone's on them. Yeah. I've also been told, like, clients, so brands have told me, so people like Cosmo mentioned this to me, that they'll go straight to someone's Instagram before they'll go to their website.
Wow. Okay.
So you have to have it on point because it's so quick. They're going to be on their phone already, so they'll just type in their name and they can have a quick look to see what they're doing, and they'll decide yes or no.
Wow. So super important then.
It is. It's not everything.
No.
It's not everything. I mean, people have there are some huge photographers that have incredible careers without that, and don't use Instagram at all. There are also some photographers that have like 50,000 followers, and people then sometimes assume that they're only doing well because they've got such a massive following, so that helps them to do well. I don't necessarily agree with that. There are so many big photographers that have like a couple of thousand and are shooting major campaigns. But I think for what I do in the young fashion world, I work a lot with influencers. I work with young models and magazines. So we're that generation of social media. Yeah, totally. So we will use it anyway. So it's important from that point of view.
It's like Instagram friendly stuff, I guess, the stuff that you shoot.
Exactly. And because I shoot colourful stuff, it stands out. So when you go on my page, you do notice it. Like if you're scrolling, which everyone does, if you see a bright orange background, you're maybe more likely to be like, okay, what's that? Instead of just a white one or whatever.
Totally. Awesome. Okay, well, thank you so much for talking to us. That was super interesting. I don't, like I said before, I don't really know anything about fashion photography, so even just for me, that was really interesting. You can find more tutorials every Tuesday and all kinds of stuff, reviews and all different stuff So make sure to subscribe, make sure to like the video. I'll see you in the next video, and as always, thanks for watching.